Hey, I'm Frank J. Avella. Welcome to anyone tuning in for the first time. And welcome back for those of you who are checking out our second presentation of 3 short plays that meditate on queer sexual power, past, present, and future, hosted by the Tank. Thank you, Megan, Anthony, and Danielle. This project is called GANYMEDE Revisited, and in running order consists of CATAMITUS, a piece ripped from today's headlines, starring Nicholas Turturro as Tanner, John David West as Dylan. The second piece is Ganymede, which flashes back to ancient Rome and features Kevin Duffy as Julius Caesar and Olaf Raymond Ede as Octavian. Lastly, Gaia is set in the future and boasts Remington Moses as Minerva and Anna Holbrook as Barbara. Kelly Gilman and J.D. West are providing narration. A big shout out to Ashley Garrett, as always. And please support the Tank and other theater makers like the Tank. Now, CATAMITUS.
I liked girls.
You liked getting fucked by me.
No, not at first. I didn't want to. You were really aggressive.
Ah, fuck my world some more. Is that why you're here? To cry rape like the others? You come brandishing your own hashtag? Are you wearing a wire?
Yeah, sure. It's hidden. Come find it.
Tanner puts his arms out and spreads his legs. Dylan frisks him. He caresses his upper body at first and becomes a bit rough. He places his hand down Tanner's pants. Tanner lets him. Dylan finds a knife. He pulls it out, opens it, closes it, and puts it back in Tanner's pocket.
Your body's changed.
Yeah, I'm an adult now.
Pity.
Heard from Paul that you're pretty much a hermit lately. No more parties, no more boy flow, no more career. Well, that one I actually read about in the Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, just one of the new Legion of Pariahs created by that misguided movement. Time's up your ass. So, what's your agenda?
Well, I'm not here to add myself to the ever-growing list of accusers, if that's your concern.
You need more money?
No, I'm doing fine.
Oh, yes, I saw you and my cousin the like and classy crap.
Well, pays the bills. And let's face it, as you were always fond of telling me, I'm no Daniel Day-Lewis.
No, you're not. But there was something there. Something you can't quite put into words.
No, you fed me that. The way back when you came to my high school to speak, you were so inspiring. I followed you out of the auditorium to talk to you about your wizard movies. They meant so much to me. All the heroes were these social misfits, mostly teens, who just didn't fit in, and all the bullies got punished. I asked you if you had a part for me in your upcoming movie.
Ballsy.
Yeah, I was. Only because I saw that you couldn't stop staring at me from the podium when you were speaking. You just kept looking over. So I wondered if you saw something special in me.
You had that kind of insight at 18.
I was 15. And probably not. But in retrospect, and after overanalyzing my life to shit, it's the conclusion I've come to.
No, you were not 15.
I was just 15.
Well, I'm sure I assumed you were 18.
Yeah, you assumed every boy you met and fancied was 18. That's your thing. Don't ask, don't tell, don't give a fuck. Give a fuck.
Clever. You know, you stood out from those other future fast food managers. You were hot as fuck, and you were definitely staring back at me.
Of course I was. Everyone was. You were the speaker. You were Dylan Lennon.
I meant you were staring back at me in that way.
Okay. Sure. Fine. You seemed so interested in what I had to say, so I told you I was starring a pajama game at my high school, and I invited you, and you actually came. You even came to the after party and charmed everyone. You told stories, posed for selfies. Afterwards, you pulled me aside and promised to put me in your next movie. It was like being shot up with heroin. Then you put your hand down the back of my pants and kissed me on the mouth. A week later, you flew me out here and moved me in. How much did my folks sell me for? I never had the courage to ask them.
A small fortune, and I did give you a part in my film.
You gave my naked ass a part. You shot a 3-minute scene with me in it and just used the shot of my ass getting out of the shower.
It was a good ass.
Yeah, it's even better now. Want to see? Look at you. All tentative. Paul said you were abstaining from debauchery because of the lawsuits.
Yeah, Paul's a regular chatty cunty Cathy.
Yeah, he's also the only friend besides me who hasn't turned on you.
Yet. So, if you're not here to nail me to a cross...
Nail you to a cross? Will you see yourself as some misunderstood Christ figure?
I'm being sacrificed because a few bad actors never made it and want to blame me and erase my legacy and discredit all the groundbreaking work I've done. They're bent on shredding anything and anyone who doesn't fit into their brave new revisionist view of the world.
Did you ever stop and think that they're just trying to create a better world? Where people in power can't get away with being inappropriate with children?
I never abused children. You weren't a child. All my boys knew what they were doing and knew what they wanted. You did. But everyone has got to add their verse to the deafening "fuck me too" chorus. You don't hear me blaming Father Kelly for sucking me off when I was 13 because I enjoyed it. And you don't hear me moaning about how he victimized and objectified and sexualized me and all the brave and new verbs they're using.
Well, he did Oh, you are so sneaky. You're trying to excuse what you did by playing victim yourself? Are you even Catholic?
Does it matter, since you're bent on condemning me?
I'm not condemning you. I take responsibility. I knew what I was doing, and I was no better than you when it came to continuing the cycle. The boys you bring over, I had my way with too.
You learn from the best to the best.
Being with you was definitely an education. The way you got what you wanted, who you wanted, when you wanted. Like the way you dial a boy.
Dial a boy?
Oh, we'd be watching the CW or some other predator-pleasing channel, and you'd see someone you wanted and send a text. Within days, that boy would arrive on your doorstep as if by drone. Like a trophy you earned. For what? I mean, you did make some great movies. Movies that matter and maybe changed lives, but you also used and discarded people like you were some kind of magnificent god we should all open our asses for.
There's a cinematic image. I'll have to remember it if I ever work again.
And good luck with that. Yeah, and sure, I got sucked in. Never-ending flow of boys, actors, singers, writers, street kids, social media stars. But you only cared that they were young and fuckable. And if they showed any resistance the way that I did first, you'd get them nice and stoned, roofie them, and do whatever you do. You know, I have my own version of zombie pills now. Lexus something. Oh, and of course you had Viagra on tap for those more populated nights. Then get out. Bye. Yeah, I'm curious, Dylan. What made me so special that you didn't kick me out when you kicked all the others out? What made me so worthy?
I loved you.
Why? Why did you love me? Besides me being hot as fuck.
I never felt like you were using me for my status or my money or whatever. Not like the way the others were, the dial boys were.
Well, that's fucking ironic because that's exactly what I was doing. I only slept with you because you were Dylan Lennon, and I only stayed with you because I wanted to be cool and rich and a movie star. Sure as shit didn't want to have sex with you.
Yes, you did. I know that look.
That look? You were my hero. I was confused. Definitely, but not only into dudes.
No, you loved it. All of it. Especially the role playing, the inmate guard fantasies, all of it.
Did I really? Did you ever notice that my cock was usually soft? I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked being your boy until I realized that I was really just my ass. You loved my ass. And there were so many other asses you wanted to love. You had convinced me that I was the one.
You were.
Was I? Yeah, how can you say that with a straight, excuse the pun, face? Read the accounts. At least 7 others this week were under the impression
Now,
that you...
fuck them. Fuck them. They're demented. Those faggots will say anything for their 90 seconds of fame. And they never mattered. You were my boy. My hottest fuck boy. And then you left me.
Yeah, because I got tired of you lending me out to your friends. You'd leave me alone with this mega agent or that studio rep, and what was I supposed to do? So I became this sex whore. That's what you made me.
I made you. Maybe what you wanted, but I did not.
I never wanted that. Letting creepy old men and creepier younger men think it's okay to do whatever they please without taking into account that I am a human being and might not want to shit blood and cum all week long.
And if I said I had no idea that was going on?
Well, I'd say you should stick to directing because you're no Daniel Day-Lewis either.
You should have said no.
Keen advice. Now, I didn't know how to say no. I do now. Thanks to you and your band of predators, I was never able to figure out my sexuality on my own terms. You know, I wonder who I might have been had I never had the courage to speak to you on that warm winter day. Maybe married, with kids, maybe happy.
Maybe delusional.
You so sure? Because I'm not. I never got to explore that part of my life. Like women, watching Twilight growing up, I wanted to do Edward and Bella and Jacob.
I could have arranged that. Dialecast. So now, who does it for you now?
No one. I have this reputation of being a ladies' man with my fans. Shut up. I have fans. And the hot guys on set keep hitting on me, but I haven't been with anyone since you.
Bullshit. You're 30. There's no way you've been celibate for 3 years. You're a dude.
I'm 22. But that's 30 in Dylan years. You're a mess.
Without you. See? There's that look.
Tanner kisses him gently, then hard, then gently again.
You're here to fuck with my head.
Maybe.
Tanner takes out a knife and gets behind him. Dylan tries to move away. Tanner stops him by placing the knife to his throat.
Stand still.
Yes, sir.
You don't like relinquishing power, do you?
What power?
Touché.
Is this your revenge fantasy or your rape fantasy?
Why can't it be both?
Tanner has nicked Dylan.
I am who I am. I grew up in a time when guys who fucked guys died, and I'm alive. We not only had the gay stigma that your gen is free of thanks to us, but we were seen as walking death traps. If you looked at us, your cock fell off. So a lot of us just fucked like crazy because we knew we were gonna die soon anyway. Who knew some of us would get lucky? And there was no bothering with love and marriage and kids and all that nonsense. We didn't want or need to have that het life bullshit. Today, you're all so sexually fluid. You even think you could be some happy hetero. Back then, we were fiercely proud to be gay. And I had that other proclivity that I share with the ancient Greeks and Romans. I like my boys young and beautiful because that's what inspires me. Youth and beauty. And no laws or tweets are ever going to change that. And you are more beautiful than ever. You still look exactly the way you did back then when I saw you sitting in the third row of that moldy auditorium. You rocked my world. And thinking about you naked at my side. So here you are, at my side, with that look.
With that look?
Tanner, still holding the knife, advances and kisses Dylan. Dylan steps closer towards the knife and hugs Tanner, still kissing him. Tanner fully embraces him now, body and soul, plunging the knife into Dylan, who lets it happen. Dylan slowly falls into Tanner's arms, then to the ground. Tanner puts the knife down and stares at Dylan's body. He then takes out the bottle of pills, opens it, and empties it into his mouth. Tanner positions himself on the ground, holding Dylan's lifeless body, caressing him, and waiting. Blackout. End of play.
Ganymede, July 45 BC. Julius Caesar has defeated the Republican army in the Battle of Munda in Hispania Ulterior, now Spain, for Rome. He remains in Spain for several weeks, conquering towns and imprisoning and slaughtering his enemies. He will soon return to Rome and be made dictator for life, and will shortly thereafter be assassinated by conspiring members of the Senate. But at this moment, his position of power and influence in the known world is unrivaled. During the Spanish campaign, Caesar sends his great-nephew, Octavian, who will go on to become Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Because of ill health, Octavian arrives after the battle is already fought and won. The setting is a tent somewhere in Spain. Caesar stands behind Octavian.
After 8 relentless hours of blood spilling in Munda, fighting side by side with my men, and by the grace of Venus and a prophetic miscalculation on their part, we bested them.
Decimated, I was told.
Oh, Pompey's sons fought well, but they were no match for my legions.
No match for you.
No match for Rome.
You are Rome.
I am Rome.
You destroyed them like you vanquished their father at Pharsalus.
Pharsalus was another matter.
Regale me.
Again?
It's been too long since you've filled me in.
Oh, you're almost a man now.
Almost.
We were outnumbered.
2 to 1.
Antony commanded the left, Sylla the right.
Domitius center.
I anticipated danger to my right flank.
Oh, your flank.
So I quickly ordered them to form a 4th line.
A protection line.
I asked my men to summon up their courage.
Brave men.
And they attacked, wild enthusiasm.
For you.
For Rome.
You are Rome.
Pompey assumed they'd grow tired.
But they grew more excited.
Oh, his men grew fearful, doubtful.
You remained strong, cocksure.
The battle was fierce.
Savage, sweaty.
The 4th line was our salvation.
By Mars.
We pounded them into jelly.
Pounded, pummeled.
And gutted them.
Great carnage.
Victory was ours.
Caesar has finished having sex with Octavian.
You didn't tell how you ordered your men to mark the soldiers' faces, knowing they would fear visible scars more than fatal wounds. That's my favorite part. Roman vanity revealed.
Something I'm all too familiar with.
Those men fled for fear of being marked. I would have donned a mask under my helmet and fought.
I'm sure you would have.
I apologize for arriving too late to fight.
Attia sent word you were gravely ill.
Mother exaggerates. It was only a fever.
Last time I summoned you, you were shipwrecked and fought your way across rough terrain, risking your life to get to me. I can forgive a fever.
It pleases me that I please you.
You do please me. You may not have inherited my height, nephew, but you rival me with those piercing eyes, and you are far more exquisite than Helen of Troy ever was, ever hoped to be, certainly than I ever was.
That is not the rumor, great uncle.
Oh, you'd be wise not to listen to rumor.
Even the one about you being catamite to the king of Bithynia.
Especially that one. You were bold today, nephew. I admire that. But you shouldn't pay heed to Cicero's slanders attempting to diminish my prestige and portray me as less masculine.
The irony.
Irony?
At how simple even the cleverest of people are when it comes to deciphering the power dynamics of passivity in the sexual act. We know that can be deceptive.
Rash boy.
Surely, uncle, you can confide the truth in me, your nephew, who has given himself to you time and time again. Wild with enthusiasm, uncle.
What I say does not leave this tent. I was slightly older than you, and pleasing the king would yield me certain career benefits, advantages. He was a loving man who helped forge my path. That is all I wish to share.
That's enough, uncle.
It is never the act that matters. It is whether you admit to it or not. Rumors will always abound. Truth is never as important as perception. Realize that, and you will go far.
Do you think I will?
I
Go
do.
far.
I
How
do.
far?
How far would you like to go?
I'm not certain.
Oh, come now, boy. You have ravenous ambition. I've sensed that since you were a child. As a matter of fact, I see in you a great deal of myself at your age.
Oh, a great compliment, one I'm not certain I'm worthy of.
Modesty is a waste of time, nephew.
It isn't modesty, as much as trepidation. I've been force-fed the tales, rumors and omens, the serpent that marked mother's womb, while I danced inside of it, foretelling the birth of a Roman king. But what am I really other than a sickly boy?
A sickly boy who is growing into a formidable young man. Do not let your ailments detract you. I, too, have my bouts with illness. I've never allowed it to shadow me.
You are the great Caesar, no one would dare.
Because I keep certain things hidden. You must do the same.
I fear if I do that, I will disappear into nothing.
Is that true humility? Or are you even more clever than I give you credit for?
I know I have certain strengths, but I need a master. Teach me, uncle. Teach me all I must know to be even half the man you are.
Oh, you will be much more than that.
Take me to Syria so I can fight the Parthian campaign.
I may, boy, but first you must train and continue your education. You must use your mind and body.
I believe I can do that.
Oh, I know you can. You must never appear weak. Life's a tricky thing. I felt no joy at Pharsalus when I destroyed Pompey's legions and was devastated when that barbaric Egyptian boy beheaded the man who was once my friend. But I refused to show my pain. Weakness, nephew, is one thing you can never afford to show. Not to your friends or your enemies, who may well be disguised as your friends, and never to the people.
You speak as though I may, in fact, lead one day as you do.
Yes, perhaps not as I do, but you can and will lead.
By what right?
You have always been an honorary member of the Julian clan.
That will only get me so far.
Careful, nephew. Your ambition is showing and growing.
Is it? Your wish was for me to shed my modesty?
So it was.
Uncle, you have been my mentor, my teacher, my king.
I am no one's king.
You are Rome's king, therefore you are mine.
Oh, if the Senate heard you speak this way.
I see no miserable old goats in this tent. Only a virile king and his loyal subject.
King! Dictator suits me fine.
Is there a difference?
Oh, in the eyes of both the patricians and the plebeians, there certainly is. I have no desire to be king.
But if the gods choose you, you have no choice.
Oh, are we still speaking about me?
You have done well in guiding Rome to economic fortune while navigating its self-destructive politics, and you have proven that the Senate is not necessarily necessary for Rome to thrive and the working people to bloom.
You speak heresy, truthful, perspicacious heresy. But I will not live forever.
You are virtually a young man. You show no signs of age.
I am 65. Today, in fact, I am hardly a young man.
You penetrate like a young man. You lead like a god. You attack like Mars himself.
And you speak like a politician and move like a sly panther. Beautiful. Terrifying.
Does that please you? Do I please you?
Octavian, I have great affection for you. You have tackled every task I've given you with intelligence and sagacious tenacity. You listen, you absorb, you debate, you meditate. You leave me breathless. Yes, you please me.
Octavian kisses Caesar.
And
Yes, uncle.
you will be my heir.
How is that possible?
It is possible because I will decree it to be so.
What of Antony?
What of Antony?
All of Rome assumes he will be your heir, Antony included.
When all of Rome will be disappointed, Antony included.
And the Queen of Egypt.
Well, surely Rome does not assume Cleopatra to be my heir.
No, but Caesarion, your son, she will fight for him.
Oh, Rome would never accept him as my beneficiary. She is well aware of that.
Cicero says she is a cunning, sly,
Cicero
shrewish.
should watch his scandalous tongue, lest it be cut out and forced down his diabolical throat.
There is talk of Caesarion that
He is my son. You need only look at his face to see that. And as my heir, you must vow to Augustus that you will look after him.
as I would my own brother.
Spoken like a true son.
True son.
You will make my son.
Do you speak the truth? You do not jest with your nephew.
I can assure you, by veritas, I speak the truth, and it will be done. I shall have a new will written. It will specify that you are my named heir, and that I plan on adopting you. So if anything were to happen to me, my wishes will be known, and I will make sure it is safely hidden.
Uncle, I never expected.
But you dreamed.
We all dream of the unattainable.
Nothing is unattainable if you desire it enough.
I have dreamed, Uncle. I have dreamed of taking our laws, our language, our art to every corner of this earth. To conquer, liberate, and enlighten each and every village. For Rome, for you, with you.
You will be good for Rome. I've always thought that. And the soothsayers may be right, and you may well rule the world as Alexander once did, son of Apollo.
Son of Caesar, Uncle, is it immature that I want to rush back to Rome and shout it from the highest?
As much as I would love to see it, that wouldn't be prudent, Octavian. If I were to die prematurely, you are likely to encounter hostility. Some will refuse to accept you. The Senate.
I fear Antony and even Cleopatra more than those syphilis-ridden patricians.
Oh, those two might just come together to destroy you. You need to be prepared, mind and body. You will go to Apollonia, study, learn to be both scholar and soldier. Bring along those two friends, the handsome masculine one and the clever prissy one.
Agrippa and Maecenas, I shall. I will make you so proud.
You already do. But I need you to be strong and shrewd. and ready to fight. As much as I'm beloved, I also have many enemies who would love to see me laid out on a funeral pyre.
Uncle,
Octavian pricks himself with Caesar's sword.
I swear, by the Furies, by Jupiter, by Caesar, if anything were to happen to you, I would not rest until I vanquished every last conspirator and their offspring.
Sweet, loyal boy.
Caesar licks Octavian's face, then embraces him.
Strange. Yours is the only touch that makes me feel human.
And you make me feel alive. I can have Silius fill the basin with fresh water so we can bathe.
No. I like us filthy. Our sins mingling.
Sometimes I wish I could consume you.
You can try. Please. That will be my offering to you to celebrate the day of your auspicious birth. Have me as many times as you'd like, consume me.
I shall. And what do I give you when it's time to commemorate your glorious emergence into our world?
An empire.
Blackout. End of play. Gaia lights up on a completely transparent room containing 2 very comfortable chairs. In this version of the future, there are microchips implanted in everyone's cerebral cortex and occipital lobe, so viewing all things takes place in one's head. Minerva gets an internal alert.
Dispatcher.
Barbara enters, wearing a skirt.
You sent for me?
I did.
Why?
A complaint was filed.
Against me?
Well, yes.
Well, why wasn't I directly informed?
You would have been, but there is no precedent for how to handle this/it.
I am not understanding.
It's just bizarre.
What is?
I haven't, in all of my years here, I've never,
5 years.
well, yes.
That's not all that many years.
Well, true, but the innovations, technological and otherwise, the new laws, sweeping changes, what we've accomplished.
We've accomplished.
Oh, well, you. Way more than me, of course, still. This one is one for the books.
Maybe you can just tell me what it is.
Yes. Oh, my internal manners alert. Would you like something to ingest?
I'm good.
Liquid muffin?
Blueberry?
Raspberry?
Pass.
Uzo?
Certainly. Now, about this complaint.
Yes. You have been accused of impropriety.
Impropriety?
Of a sexual nature.
What? Another.
I know.
Look, there must be some mistake.
Mistakes are no longer made.
How can you say that without guffawing? Keep them coming.
The trust amendment.
Ha! That nonsense. All right, now, may I ask who made this claim?
Hippolina.
From the lime green tower?
Yes, do you know another Hippolina? Her report states you gave her a look.
A look.
Yes, a look.
What kind of look?
One of impropriety.
Nonsense. I rarely feel the need or urge to look at anyone for more than 3 seconds anymore.
That's all it takes. You've been looking at me for much longer than 3 seconds, so.
Well, you're not hard to look at.
Thank you. That's very, wait, no, that felt very improprietary.
That's not a word.
Add to word bank, improprietary. It is now.
I am not sure how comfortable I am with that new policy.
Oh, it will go through the proper channels before being added.
I am one of those proper channels, don't forget. And I did not give Hippolina an improprietary look.
She sent the surveillance. See, it is there.
Where?
There.
Oh, she said something silly and I rolled my eyes.
No, not there. It is there.
That was gas. I had a cup of that new simulated spaghetti bolognese for lunch.
Oh, it's the non-dairy, gluten-free meat substitute, no harm done to any vegetable brand.
That's the one.
And?
All acid, taste-free, intestinal nightmare.
Oh, shame. I had high hopes. Oh, but that wasn't the look I was talking about. It is that look there. Yeah, you see?
Oh, that look.
Yes, that look. Followed by, and this is why the complaint was filed, that gesture.
That gesture.
Yes, that gesture.
Barbara lifts her skirt at Minerva.
This gesture?
Oh, my. Yes, that gesture.
This.
Yes, that. Just stop that.
I would guess that I did do that. Yes, but there was no look. A smirk, maybe.
Oh, yes, I can see a smirkiskness.
Are you going to try to turn that into a word as well? Because it's not, nor should it be.
Shall we sit?
They sit. Barbara spreads her legs, then closes them.
And that is not the first time either.
Pardon?
The first time you've done that.
This?
Yes, that. Yes, but you stop that.
Others have complained?
No.
But you pulled more surveillance video, haven't you?
Well, yes, I had to. It's procedural. You know that. You can't go around doing what you're doing just shamelessly, nilly.
I can't.
You know you can't. You can't. There's no reason to, is there?
Do we always need a reason for everything we do?
It just feels like something those who shall only be remembered for their destruction would have done. Not us. We don't. You can't. You certainly shouldn't.
The gesture, the look, or this?
Did you, all of the combination, but especially, and that inappropriate side glance at Hippolina's tummy, I saw that.
She's fat.
No, we don't think those things, let alone say them.
We can think what we like. We fought for that. Free thought. And I couldn't help glancing. The girth on that one?
Oh, I just don't understand. I just don't.
What don't you understand?
Why you, of all women would do such a thing. I know your history. You're a heroine, an icon. You were on the front lines during the vagina wars. You and your team realized that the way to defeat those who shall only be remembered for their destruction was via their whatses. So once the scrotal septum magnet was invented, we could easily control those who shall only be remembered for their destruction. And last Vagina Freedom Day, you were awarded the Fuchsia V for your valor and your fearless prosecution of the very last of the worst of those who shall only be remembered for their destruction. And it was even you who suggested that most of those who shall only be remembered for their destruction be banished to Greenland, since nothing much of consequence ever happens there. And the others were dispatched to various areas of the world where they mine environmentally friendly ways to continue to combat climate change, and it's working, so why?
Can you stop pretending that you don't know me, Minerva? It's exhausting and more than a little disconcerting.
I'm just being professional.
For the surveillance. Turn it off.
We're not really supposed to.
But we can, so do it.
Fine. But for 7 minutes. And say we took separate orgasm breaks.
Separate?
Barbara, I can't keep covering up for you. This has to stop.
For God's sake, we cohabitate. And you send for me like I'm some intern. And I created your job. Don't forget.
I'm not I'm not forgetting that, Barbara. I know that. I owe you. We all owe you. Womankind owes you. Your list of achievements is endless. You championed outlawing social media and replacing it with thought teleportation, which we near have perfected.
Well, removing the hive mind was key to civilization not just continuing, but flourishing and giving us back free time.
Booming and blooming. That was the mantra. And you fought for education for all, the diverse, socially conscious, class-encompassing education told from the female perspective, directly injected into the bloodstream.
Deciding curriculum is still one of our greatest challenges.
One that we are meeting head on, thanks to the committee you put together. And you argued against genocide when most of us wanted to eliminate those who shall only be remembered for their destruction. And you were right. Certainly haven't figured out how to procreate without their deposits. And you even spearheaded that program where those who choose to can spend an evening with those who shall only be remembered for their destruction, for their own carnal means and or desires.
Can we just say men? Just for these 7 minutes.
Well, you can. I refuse. And we have less than 5 minutes left.
That's because you talk so much, so precise.
Well, someone must be. And you even allowed those with a queer bend to survive and thrive in Australia.
Well, that continent needed some pizzazz. And I have virtual visits with my 3 gays every other day. I would be lost without them, especially during awards season. And to watch them constantly engaging in sexual misconduct, which none of them seem to object to. That's a hoot and a half.
If you say so. They represent no real threat to us. You proved that in your seminal Save the Gays proclamation.
Someone had to.
And you introduced the highly controversial bill to slowly allow select and rehabilitated handfuls of those who shall only be remembered for their destruction back into society.
Strictly probational.
Yeah, I'm iffy on it. But you've been right about almost everything else. And thanks to you and our sister pioneers, we can work and have children with no fuss. Why should women accept this picture of a half-life instead of a share in the whole of human destiny?
Betty would be proud, that bitch.
Barbara, thanks to you and those like you, we don't have to dress our faces or our bodies to impress anyone but ourselves. We are no longer sexualized. Well, we're not supposed to be anyway, but this thing you keep doing, it is reminiscent of a certain comic from the time we no longer speak of.
He was funny. I believe the council banished him to the Arctic Circle, where he still does live performances. Do you want to see?
No, we negotiate, compromise, and problem solve in creative and innovative ways now, and our planet is so much better for it. Even our world and religious leaders have learned to act for the greater good, and we are kinder and safer and more thoughtful, more inclusive civilization. Yes, we do quite a lot of bickering, but we also get things done. Go us!
Why are you still speechifying, Minerva? You act like you're standing in a pulpit pausing for applause. Good goddess. You still have the shadow surveillance on, don't you? You're trying to impress council.
Well, I can't in good conscience turn everything off. And the council's already impressed by me.
You can and you will turn it off. All of it. Now.
Fine.
They kiss. Minerva grabs Barbara under her skirt.
Oh, Minerva. That was extremely improprietary.
Well, I would say you enjoyed it.
And I would not contradict that.
We can't do this here.
Because?
Because we do this at our domicile each evening.
At 8 p.m. sharp. Followed by food consumption, a dispenser of imported wine, 2 hours of a council-approved film, then slumber. There is far too much order in our world now. The interconnectedness is great, but we've lost intimacy and creativity along the way.
Is that why you're going about flashing your vagina at every Sam, Sue, and Sally? Sam for Samantha, of course.
Of course. I don't know why I do it. Perhaps because it gives the flashies something to smile about. And they were either shocked or aroused. Whatever, it seems to bring them pleasure, which brings me pleasure. And no one else has reported me. And I have flashed Demeter 6 times. I've even gotten compliments and 2 propositions. Only that lard-ass Hippolina.
Barbara.
Oh, you don't like her either.
But not because of her overweightiness. That one, no, fine. She does have that one mole.
Ugh, right? Is it right under her left nostril?
Yeah, makes her nose look like it's in distress. Oh no, this is terrible. We shouldn't.
What? Have some fun?
No, not at the expense of others.
We are from different generations.
But we do share a desire to make the world a better place.
That we do. And let's not forget who pursued whom.
You were the smartest, sexiest woman I have ever encountered. Still are.
Flatterer. But I did and do love that you wanted to take up the torch, up the ante, and fix the world.
Yeah, you also love that I look like a young one of them with my cropped hair. Do you miss them or him?
My husband? Ex? Not at all. No. I miss spontaneity.
I can be spontaneous. I like to plan it.
All right. Let me choose the next feature.
Fine. But does it have to be one of theirs?
No. The films we're making are every bit as good as theirs, but it would be nice to revisit the 1970s for a change.
I concede for tonight, but it has to have a strong female lead. Oh, I have to turn back on now. We've exceeded 7 minutes. What do I tell the council?
Well, tell the council to advise Hippolina to have that mole lanced. I don't care what you tell them. I have nothing to hide.
Fine. I might leave some of it out for the report. See you at home. Oh, and please synchronize your calendar for tomorrow's virtual voting.
What's tomorrow? I didn't receive an alert. We're discussing an edict that would abort male fetuses.
Well, just the ones who show a genetic predisposition towards violence or sexual inappropriateness.
How did this nonsense make it to forum?
Many of us are wary about the future.
And you think this is a valid bill?
I think it has merit, should be debated.
Well, I disagree. And we must all agree. So, excise it.
Fine. But it will be introduced again in the future.
Not while I'm around.
Barbara begins to leave, then looks back at Minerva, who flashes her. End of play.